everyone, I'm Sarah, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how I stay organized in college. I'm currently attending the Ohio State University, and between that, YouTube, and everything that goes along with college life and being a musician, I have a lot of things to keep track of, a lot of dates and to-dos, and I feel like I finally got my planner system kind of sorted out in a way. I was never really a planner prior to this year. I had started planners and never really finished them, but I feel like I finally have gotten a system down that works for me. And if you're new to planning, it's not a hard system, it's nothing crazy, it's not really a system at all, it's just some tips and tricks. So I thought I would share those with you. Maybe you can incorporate some, maybe it'll just help you in general to get motivated to stay organized at college, because really organization leads to studying and good grades and everything like that. As boring as it sounds, it's really important and honestly helps you succeed. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So in terms of planners, I'm not picky. I got a new one for 2019. I typically buy my planners from Target because I don't want anything that's going to be crazy expensive. I think this one was somewhere from $10 to $15, and I really just like it for two reasons. One, because it has the tabs with the month on it, and then it has these monthly spreads where you can see everything throughout the month, and two, because the weekly spreads are blank. I really like that there's no lines and that there's space for me to draw / do whatever I want. It's kind of like having the daily spread from a bullet journal, except without the work that a bullet journal requires. In terms of where this stays, it pretty much just stays in my backpack. I try to pull it out a couple times a day. Some days it doesn't happen, but most days I get it done in the morning when I'm having breakfast. I'll just kind of like look at what I need to do for today, or if I'm in a lecture and I am bored, sometimes I'll pull it out to see, just stuff like that. But yeah, it stays in my backpack and I try to pull it out a couple times a day, but in the summer I do also keep one of these for work and things related to that. But I don't necessarily have it on me all the time. It just stays in my book bag. In terms of supplies, again, I'm a simple girl. I just want things that kind of look cute but do the job. So I have the Crayola Super Tip markers, and I basically just use them as highlighters because I like pastel highlighters. I think it looks better. Not a whole lot of reason for that. And then I use gel pens most of the time. I will use ballpoint. I'm like not against them. I just like the way gel pens write, so most of the time I have gel pens. And then I also use a pencil sometimes for dates that are movable. For example, YouTube videos. My schoolwork will always come before that, so if I need to move them around, like this video, which was supposed to be uploaded Tuesday, I can. I have the ability to, and I don't have to like cross things out. Now we're on to my actual methods, ways to stay organized, things like that. So we're just kind of getting out of syllabus week. It's the second week of the semester, so we're actually getting into like the work of class. Not that all of syllabus week wasn't work, because a lot of it totally was, which is great. Love when teachers do that. The biggest tip I have is, at the bare minimum, you need to write your exams in your calendar. I put my midterms and finals in the monthly spread, but also the weekly spread, just so I know when they're coming up. And then other assignments like quizzes or online homework, things that are repetitive, I try to do those on a week-by-week basis, and I put those in the weekly spreads because it's just easier to look at and kind of digest by the week. In terms of how I write those out, every time there's an assignment, exam, or an event, so say I have to be somewhere at a certain time, or I have an exam in econ that day, I denote those with stars because I find it easier to see. For the rest of the journal, you'll see that I do bullets, so the stars just really stand out. Exams are also highlighted. That would be my next tip, is you have to highlight your stuff. Right now I have YouTube one color, sorority stuff another color, and exams another color. I'm actually not in a sorority yet at the time of filming this. I am going through recruitment. It takes place over 2 weekends and I'm in the middle week. So basically I did write recruitment and highlight that, you know, that kind of deal. But we'll see as time goes on. When I was in athletic band, I used to have those events, the games I had to play at, basketball, hockey, whatnot, all in a certain color. So just things that you think you need to know. I wouldn't say highlight everything, and I don't do it in terms of a weekly basis. I don't think that's helpful. to see everything you need to do highlighted, because I don't think that makes the things that are highlighted stand out. It's like if you highlighted every section of your book, it doesn't matter if it's color coded, the important things aren't going to stand out. You need that to happen. So I just like to highlight exams in the weekly spread, and that is it. In terms of planning out the rest of the days, I use a method similar to bullet journaling. I never quite got into bullet journaling. Maybe I will in the future, but as of right now, I don't really have the time to sit down and make a bullet journal. I know you can make it what you want, you can put into it what you want, but it's just easier if the planner is like pretty already and pre-set up. I don't have to worry about a thing. But basically the method I use is derived from that. It's not exactly the same. Don't want the bullet journal community coming after me, because they can be pretty picky about their sacred, bullet journal texts. But so I start with bulleting to-dos. I have a weekly to-do list, but I will put big to-dos. Like last week, for example, I had to submit a scholarship, and I didn't know which day I would want to do it, but I knew it had to be done that week because it was due. So I put it in the weekly to-dos, and then it's easier to visualize. And then things I know what day I want to do them, I just put in the days. In terms of how I plan out what I'm gonna do, I just basically get to choose. That's why I do the whole to-do list aspect instead of planning out times for certain things. I don't like time blocking. I don't know, it might be the ADHD, but I just don't like being constrained to those things. So the way I do it is if I finish something, I cross it out, and if I want to move something to the next day, I just draw a little arrow over it and then write it as a new bullet the next day. It's a really dumbed down version of bullet journaling, and it works really well for me because I don't really want to look back on this. I just want to have it do its function, which is plan. And the last thing I do is trackers. Again, really dumbed down version of how bullet journalers do it, but I don't write out trackers like in a big monthly sense. I just do them by the day, so I know what I need to get done. Basically every day I put down vitamin and duo with a check, and just through doing this I now consistently take my vitamins. I don't ever miss a day, and it's actually been really good for me in that sense. Duo, however, you will see that I'm not doing so good. It stands for Duolingo. I'm trying to learn Italian. I'm working on it. I need to study more, but yes, we'll attack that. The other thing I do is I also write out what I'm eating. Okay, this can get controversial because obviously if you have a history with eating disorders and things like that, you totally should not 100% do this. You need to talk to a doctor, all those kind of things. But if you don't have a history with any of those kind of things, I think tracking your eating can be healthy. I don't write down calories or anything of the sort. I just write down what I'm eating because it helps me get a gauge of how healthy I ate that day. It also helps me if I realize I felt really crappy one day. Maybe foods that can contribute to that. I don't track everything down to a macro level. I just want to make sure getting my vegetables in, and just because writing it down makes me more inspired to eat healthier. I don't want to write down cheesy tater tots and mac and cheese every day. It's just not as healthy. So yeah, it motivates me in a weird way. I also do that for exercise. I try to get more exercise in, and just having it written down there kind of motivates me to do that and reminds me like, hey, if you're bored right now, you don't have a lot to do, it's like, let's get exercise done. And it just helps me track how much I've been doing that, so I can know exactly if I need to amp it up or, that kind of thing. I pretty much always need to amp it up though. So then recently I've also added sleep tracking. Again, nothing crazy. I just try to get a rough gauge of how much sleep I got. In college, it's really important to make sure you're getting sleep. I know it's hard. You want to pull all-nighters and stay up till 2 a.m. but it's really not healthy for your mental or physical state, and you're gonna do worse in your classes if you're doing that. So I try to track my sleep to help myself be better at that as well. So I hope this was helpful. I know it's a really simple system, but honestly, it has helped me so much in college. I really feel like I've started to get this down, and it helps me a ton, so I hope it will help you as well. If you enjoyed this video, you might also enjoy my What's in My Backpack. I will leave it linked down below so you can check that out. But please subscribe so you can keep up on more original songs, covers, lifestyle videos, college vlogs, and everything of the sort. Also, like this video. It really helps out a small channel like mine, and comment down below if you have any tips. I really want to know if there's something you think I can improve on or something you took away. Currently averaging like half a comment per video, so if you guys could just kind of encourage me a little bit. It's a little depressing down there most of the time. And if you want to keep up, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at YTSarahBeau. I hope you have an amazing day, and goodbye!